Alright, welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and we've got this week's official pricing in USD and CAD. If you're new to the channel and you do enjoy all kinds of Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, warcry, pretty much any kind of tabletop wargaming, Games Workshop content, make sure to like and subscribe. So we saw this week's pre-orders coming up here, and now we have the official prices. Some of these are pretty obvious, but a couple of them are not so obvious, I should say. So we have we have our initial battle tomes. We have the English regular edition and then special edition as well. $55 for the regular edition, $90 for the special edition for the Nighthaunt. And then again, same for the Daughters of Khaine, $55 for the regular and $90 for the special edition. And then just kind of scrolling down here, we have this new bad boy, Awlrach the Drowner. Very cool model. Definitely super neat and stands alone in the range. So for Awlrach the Drowner, $50 USD or 60 Canadian. So $50 for him. He looks pretty beefy, pretty big. Definitely loaded with detail. Real nice overall aesthetic. Definitely a cool one right there. So, and then next we have the Craventhrone Guard. So these were recently released in the box set against the Daughters of Khaine. And the Nighthaunt Craventhrone Guard are 45 USD or 55 Canadian. So $45 for these bad boys. So, I mean, I think that set was right around like $200. So this is a quarter of the box right here, including a character that's not even available yet. So, I mean, overall, I would say that box really was an amazing deal, especially with a little rule book thrown in there as well. All right, and then for whatever reason, these did not make it on my price list, so I do not have a price for the Ethereal Court. So next we have Vanguard Idoneth Deepkin. Vanguard Idoneth Deepkin, $130 for this. I mean, it was right around $100 for the box set previously, and it was basically all this stuff, and then they throw him in, so it's basically about the same deal as it was before. I think that's a pretty good overall Vanguard box set. And then we have the Vanguard Fyreslayers, which are $130. And if you saw my previous video when they unveiled these, I'm not impressed by this. I think this is a weak box set. I mean, it's cool that you get a bunch of guys in it, but you get a bunch of the same guys, and then you get 5 different guys and a character. So, in my opinion, this is a terrible box set. The range itself already is missing a lot of diversity in it. It's basically just a bunch of dwarves on feet, and then you can change out a couple weapons on them. And then one of the key items that used to come in the start collecting box has been removed. You know, and this is like the only big like monster beefy creature that you can take. And now they're, keep in mind, this start collecting box was under $100 not too long ago. Came with a bunch of dwarves and then this. And now they have removed this from the start collecting box, or in this case the Vanguard box. And now they put him separately, and now the Fyreslayer Orruk Ruin Father on Magmadroth, or it's really the Ruin Father, the Ruin Son, or the Ruin Priest, $112 or 135 Canadian. So this guy is now $112. The Vanguard Fyreslayers is $130, and they pulled this guy out of the set. So in my opinion, this is just pure greed. They should have left this guy in the Vanguard with a bunch of dwarves and, you know, made the set $130 and you get some value out of it. At $112 for this guy, I mean, that's ridiculous. There's a lot way cooler models, way bigger models that you can get for around that same price or more. And now when you start comparing some of like the older stuff that hasn't been repriced to like this guy who has been repriced, I mean, you can get some of the other big monsters from Sigmar still for like $60. Like the giant griffin is like $60. There's a couple dragons for like $60. and now this guy is 112. It's just a mistake. I think this is a complete mispricing, and as if there already wasn't a bunch of reasons not to play Fyreslayers. Now I think there's just one more, because now they're, if you want to get the good stuff for the army, it's even more expensive now. So this is a complete mistake in my opinion, for the Fyreslayers. So very unfortunate. So next we have the Nighthaunt Warscroll Cards and the dice. So the Warscroll Cards are $33.50 and the dice are $38, right in line with what we would expect for these. Unfortunately, there is a delay for the Daughters of Khaine dice and Warscroll Cards, but they should be coming down the pipe before long. And then let me see what else is on here, because a lot of the Middle Earth stuff did not show up on here. So let me just scroll through all this, because I did not get pricing for all this, unfortunately. This is a really cool set. I'm actually curious to see what this is priced at, because this is awesome. This is by far one of the best terrain sets. I mean, definitely for Lord of the Rings. And then these dice are pretty cool as well. So, but yeah, I didn't get any of the Lord of the Rings stuff. I know there are a couple Lord of the Rings fans out there, so in the future, maybe I will specifically go out of my way to get those. So next we have the White Dwarf 476, coming in at $11, 14 Canadian. We also saw there was some questions about the, what was it? The Kill Team Sentry rules. Yeah, so new rules for sentries in Kill Team. Someone did actually leak that out. So essentially, you have sort of like a scout team, and then your opponent is like the defender and has some sentries walking around. And there's basically a couple things you can try to complete before like the game actually starts. Seems like a good idea overall and everything, but not sure if that's gonna like really pick up or go like mainstream or anything. Just a neat little something different, I guess. And then for the Ghost Dossier hardback novel, $19 for this bad boy. And then I don't think I really got a lot of other stuff. I think we went through everything on the list. The White Dwarf, Awlrach the Drowner, Craventhrone Guard, Vanguard Fyreslayer, Vanguard Idoneth Deepkin, Fyreslayer Orruk Runefather, Ghost Rider Dossier, Battletome Nighthaunt, Battletome Daughters of Khaine, Warscroll Cards, and Nighthaunt Dice. Yeah, so that was everything on the list for this week. So I really got to just go back to the Fyreslayers and say that this is just a big mistake. Whether you look at it as price or whether you look at it as composition, either way, this is a complete mistake. I mean, the old Start Collecting box had this guy in it and quite a few of these same dwarves, and it was under $100 for a long time, and I think that was an exponentially better box. So if you really look at what happened to the Magmadroth, previously you couldn't buy it separately, and it was like $100 with all the dwarves. So now it's 112. So it's basically like a multiple price increases all at once. Because basically this Magmadroth went from, if you were paying, let's say $100 before for the Magmadroth with, I can't remember if it was 10 dwarves. Let's say it was 10. I think it was 10. So if you were paying that for the Magmadroth with 10 dwarves, and then the Magmadroth went up higher than that price, plus you don't get the 10 dwarves anymore, it's really a double price increase. So this is just a huge mistake. Huge mistake, in my opinion. And really bad for like the Fyreslayers overall. Because if you total this up, sure, you probably get somewhere over $130 worth of value. But also, on the like aftermarket, these guys are basically, I mean, I don't want to say they're not worth anything, but there's just tons of them floating around because they basically come packaged with everything. So the last thing you need is just a box loaded up with your more of just the Fyreslayer basic troops. That's like the biggest downgrade we've seen so far. So obviously we've only seen so far 3 of the Vanguards, and that's one of the 3. The first one was pretty good overall, the Blight King one. And then I think this one is pretty good. I mean, it's right in line with what you were getting already for the Idoneth Deepkin in the Start Collecting. They just added on to it. I'm not sure why they went this direction, where they basically took the Magmadroth out. I don't know why they didn't just add on to it. I think this would have been a great box if they would have left the Magmadroth in it, left in the 10 dwarves, and then put in like the 5, like, what are they called? The Hearthguard Berserkers. I think that would have been a much better box. I don't know what the points would have looked like. And I know that's like part of the factor for them. But this is just, I mean, there's no reason for anyone to ever buy this box set. I mean, it's just, I don't know. What a miss. These guys, I'm curious about the price on them. I'm not sure why they showed up. Maybe didn't show up on the pricing thing, but and then these guys are pretty cool. I expected them to be right around like 45 or 50 bucks, in line with the other Nighthaunt stuff. I'm sure a lot of people would be picking these up. Obviously, it was a great deal to get them in the most recent box set. And then I think this guy will be a stud. I'm not sure on the rules or anything like that, but just great looking model overall. Real nice kind of like centerpiece or, you know, large scale model to add to your force. And then very cool to see some more of the Battletomes coming out. I'm sure if you are a Nighthaunt or Daughters of Khaine player, you were pretty excited about those. And then obviously we had that box set as well to accompany them. So definitely a nice way to start a force if you're not currently playing. So yeah, so that's it for the official pricing for this week. Let me know what you think down below. I'm really curious to hear people's opinions on the box sets. All this pricing is pretty much right in line with what we expected. No big surprises or anything on this week's. We already have a good idea, obviously, with like all the codexes and battletomes, what they're going to be, the dice, the Warscroll cards, all that. And then we would expect that, at least in the US, all of the Vanguard and Start Collecting, or in this case, I should say Vanguard and Combat Patrol boxes, are all priced the same. $130 for the Vanguards and $150 for the Vanguard, or for the Combat Patrols. So no surprises. I know in some countries there are different values or different prices, but not here in the good old US of A. So no surprises there. Overall, pretty cool. I am still curious to find out about that big Lord of the Rings set, the terrain set, and then also to find out about the characters for the Nighthaunts, as they have been gone for a while, and I'm not sure what they'll be priced at. Every time we've seen the characters come back from a like starter box or like a big box that was discontinued, they came back at like a ridiculously high price. So hopefully that is not going to be the case for these. But I would not be surprised to see that sprue at like 75 to 100 bucks, just because that's what we've seen in the past. We saw it with, you know, Indomitus. We saw it with quite a few of the other boxes, where they essentially offered the characters that were in the box at basically like the better part of the price of the entire box. So, I mean, normally if you went out and bought these guys, this dude would probably be like 40 bucks, and each one of these characters would probably be around 30. So that's about $100 right there. So it would not surprise me to see GW release this at like somewhere between like 65 and 80. So that's it for today. Let me know what you think. Always like to hear your guys' opinions. Just wanted to hit you with the pricing update. But gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure to like and subscribe for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, Horus Heresy, pretty much D&D, tabletop wargaming content. You know, primarily Games Workshop oriented. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.